What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Well, we managed to hit the video view goal at 1,000, and as promised, here I am, making another video for you guys. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it here. And of course, this is a game that I played last broadcast, and we're going to break it down. I'm going to explain my thought processes and things of that nature. So, let's go. So in this game, when I was in the load screen, I saw my opponent's race, and they were playing Zerg Terran. And when I look at the mini-map, I can see that my partner got Zerg. So the first thing I need to find out is whether or not he wants to go, because when you play 2v2, you gotta go roaches and lings, like as opens, because those opens keep you safe. So if my partner tells me he's gonna go roaches, then I need to go lings. And the reason for it is because it just synergizes really well. It keeps you safe in the early stages of the game. And so my thought process, when I looked at the minimap and I saw that he got Zerg, I just needed to figure out what race he was playing, or like what his composition he was going for. If he said that he was going Ling, then I would be going roaches. But in this particular game, I like to, especially when I play random team, I like to let my partner do what he's most comfortable with, because I'm such a versatile player, I can play anything, right? So that's just kind of the thought process here. But anyway, so the first thing I notice is I can see the Overlord in the bottom right of the map. So I know that the Zerg opponent is at the bottom right start location. And then the Terran player would be at the left side. So the Reaper, if he is going to go Reaper, it's more than likely going to show up in my base first. And so that's what I need to start preparing for. And so at this point in the game, you know, I'm thinking, all right, so I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm gonna go for just the speed, or if I'm gonna go for just a Zergling spam. And sometimes I opt for speed only, and sometimes I opt for Banes. There's no real particular reason for it. It's just how I feel like playing in the game. And in this game, when you go for the Baneling nest, you don't get as many workers out, so your economy is a little worse, but it does keep you safe. And so I normally opt for the Bane nest when I do this build. And then you could see like Overlord placement when you play Zerg is really important. And it's just a matter of you learning how the maps work and the attack paths and stuff like that, and where you can put them to gain information and gain edges and just be ready for stuff as it comes across the map. And so that's my thought process here. The 4 lings that I'm sending across the map right now are solely for scouting. I don't care if they die. I gotta find out what they're doing. I need to see what they're going, what their comps look like. And since I have an Overlord over the Terran's base, I know he hasn't gone for a really quick CC, at least on the low ground, so I gotta get into the base and scout. And so when I see the Hellions, the first thing I think to myself is that, well, he's probably gonna go to 2 factory, so I need to build a spine crawler to keep myself, or at least deter the Hellion spam. Like, I can't just solely rely on Lings and Banes. And then so I'm thinking, okay, and the reason I look at my ally's base there is because I need to know like what the timing of his Roach Warren is, so that I know how many drones I can eke out and how many units that I need to have at this phase of the game. So when I saw that he had that Roach Warren, I know that I don't have to like spend all of my gas on Banes because the roaches will deter this attack that's coming. And then this just coils down to control and stuff like that. So when I see the Hellions start to get, you can see I drone up, you see in the production tab, I droned up 10, like I've made 10 drones there. And the reason I did that was because I can see, I can look at that situation and I can see that that's not going to do anything. So I'm essentially looking into the future and I'm starting to think more about my economy and stuff like that. But I made that decision based on how that engagement went. It went really well for us, so instead of spamming units, I decided to work on my economy. And then, so at this stage of the game, I feel pretty safe because I had the mineral saturation, and because my ally has roaches out on the map, I felt safe at this point in the game to go ahead and take up some mutas. And the reason for the mutas is to give me map control so that I can take a third base safely, and so that I can have better production than both of my opponents. And you can see I have an overlord. We've got overlords all over the map, but the important ones are covering the third bases, like the potential third bases. And so at all times I know whether or not they're taking third bases. So when I go up to Spire like this, sometimes I'll make the hatch before I make the Spire, or like I'll make the third hatch before I make the mutas. But because these guys haven't taken third bases, I don't feel comfortable taking my third base. So I opt to make the Spire before I take the third. And so at this point of the game, I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably going to be, it's going to be very hard for us to lose the game. And so I think what I'm thinking here is I want to get some units out just to kind of poke around and stuff like that. But I want to make these mutas as soon as that Spire finishes and spend all of my gas. And when I looked at my minerals, I could see that I can take that third hatchery now, and I'll still be able to dump all of my resources into mutas. And I made these units because why not? I've got perfect mineral and gas saturation at my main and my nat. And my third isn't even done, so there's going to be this huge window of time where I wasn't actually going to be able to spend all my resources, so I just decided to make those instead of drones so that maybe I can, well, really more than anything, just scout and potentially do some damage, which I'm ultimately doing. And then so I can see on the minimap that he's going for this third base. And my goal with these mutas is to go down. Well, I was gonna go down and kill it, but I saw like the timing of it when the hatchery went down, and so I decided that instead of going directly to that base, I was gonna go over to the Terran's base first and see if I could get some damage in, and then swing back around and cancel the hatchery, because I just know that I have enough time to do that. But then I run over a Widow Mine here, and a second Widow Mine here, and then so instead of me going in to his base, I decide just to swing back around because I've already taken too much damage. So you can see this like these two compositions synergize really well together, right? So the mutas, they clean up all the overlords that are on our attack paths. They deny third bases. And and what it does is it gives you map control, and it allows me to drone up my third all the while, because they have to dump resources into defending the mutas. So my goal here was just to kill the third, and then go around and kill all the overlords that are still, you know, keeping eyes on our attack paths. Like, that's what I was immediately going to do, but then he sent a queen, and then he started sending all of his roaches. I didn't really have time to do that, so like, I kind of just need to stay there. But then I saw the 2 spine crawlers, and he wanted to commit to this attack. There's no way we're going to be able to take that, right? So we just need to run away. That's why I told him, go back. The reason they're prepared for this stuff is because I haven't cleared out the overlords on the map yet, which was my original goal. Kill the 3rd, and then go kill these overlords. And so now, because I have these mutas and they don't really have too much of a good answer to it, my goal here is just to get my 3rd base up and going. Fully saturated, and then just spam units off of 3 bases. Because I can see on the minimap, obviously we just canceled the Zerg base, the Zerg 3rd, but at the right, the left side of the screen, you can see I have an overlord parked over the 3rd base, so I can see that there's no 3rd there. So I know that all I've got to do at this point is, because my production is so much better, is just harass with my muta and just spam units all the time. Have good injects and spam Zergling Baneling. And one of the things that I'm kind of missing in this game is the evolution chambers, but the reason I didn't get them is because I actually just wanted to have, because I knew my production was so much better, I knew that it wasn't necessary. Yeah, you should really always get it, but because of how far ahead I am in this game, I know that I don't need to do that. I can end it soon if I just spam units. So I want to attack soon, so I send my mutas up here to clear out the mines that I ran into earlier in the game, and just kind of like pave a way or get a pretty good idea of what we're about to get into. You know, similar to a scan, like if you're Terran, like scanning ahead. What I'm doing with these mutas is just scouting and trying to figure out whether or not, like, where the appropriate attack path is going to be. So I can see this whole army with the mutas, right? So again, similar to a scan, I'm using my mutas. Yeah, they're taking damage, but that's fine because I'm gaining information, I'm gaining intel. I can see what I'm about to get myself into, and you know, at this point, I know that I can just go in there and just steamroll them. Like, all I gotta do is click my Banes and just group command them. This was just a game, just kind of like, I didn't really have to think too much because of they attacked us early, right? And so I was able to get, like, we were able to defend their attack early, and we did it really efficiently. So we were able just to eke out edges throughout the course of that game, and they didn't take their 3rd bases until too late. And when my mutas came out, I could keep them off of those bases. That's why people take the hatcheries earlier, or the command centers earlier, so that they can get the defenses up for the mutas. But we were just able to steamroll them because of those little edges that we were able to eke out based on the attack that they did early. We handled it really well, and that's when it started to spiral out of control for them. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope you enjoy the video. If you like it, thumbs it up. If you like it, share it. Again, if I meet a certain amount of views, I will definitely release episode 3. So if you like these videos, make sure you're getting it out there so people are seeing it, and then I'll continue to provide the content. So thank you all very much for watching. subscribe, and like it. Have a good day.